So, the Reb Levi Yitzchak Kedushas in Kedushas Levi and Parshas Toldos explains why Avram's name was changed, Yitzchak's name wasn't changed, and Yakov's name is sometimes we use the changed name and sometimes we don't. And first he points out that Yitzchak and Yakov, we have their marriages in the Torah. But Avraham's marriage to Sarah or Sarai was not mentioned in the Torah. And he says the reason is because their name was changed, and Avram and Sarai did not have children, but rather Avraham and Sarai did. Therefore, because that marriage didn't result in something in the end, therefore it didn't mention that marriage. So the reason Avraham's name was changed is because Avraham is midas hachesed. He's the concept of kindness, and the downward flow of kindness. It needs to have some kind of something to hold it back, so that you can handle it. So Avram hints to a very high father, meaning to say he's too high to reach. Therefore, you have to have a tzimtzum. You have to have some kind of contraction. The hey that we place in Avraham's name, in Avram to Avraham, in order to receive that chesed. Whereas Yitzchak's name was never changed, and that's because he himself is the attribute of tzimtzum, and so he already has that attribute where you can bring down flow to the Jewish people into the world without having to contract, because he's already gvura, and therefore his name is never changed. Whereas Yakov is a combination of both. He has midas hachesed from Avraham, and he also has midas gvura. So he has his own, so to speak, control within himself. So when we're calling him Yakov, when we call the Jewish people Yakov, it's because of it's coming through tzimtzum. And when we're called Bnei Yisrael, it's because we're concentrating more on the chesed part of it. So that's why Yisrael is Shem HaMayla, because it's referring to the higher level. And so when it says by Yakov, Ki sarisa im Elokim, it means to say that you, so to speak, you are ruling together with Elokim, that you in yourself have the name Elokim, that you control yourself, the flow, in order to have both Yakov and Yisrael. So Avraham, so anybody who calls Avram is over be'aseh. You're gone against a positive commandment that you have to call Avraham. Whereas Yakov, it's the Torah itself calls him both later, because we have both of these aspects, that Yakov and Yisrael work together in order to that's the concept of Kisarisa Elokim, that Yakov and Yisrael is together with Elokim. The flow comes downwards, and he brings here a mashal. He says it's like when a father learns with his son, that the father contracts their intellect in order to give over to the son, that he works it within himself in order to give over what the son can handle. This is something that happens within the father. Sheyu Yisrael im Elokim, that in order for us to be with Elokim, to be together with Hashem. So that's how he translates Ki sarisem Elokim, because you're going to be with Elokim. You're going to be together with Hashem because of the Torah that Hashem is going to give us. And that's, of course, the concept of Yakov. He doesn't bring it here, but it's the Yakov is Ishtam Yoshev Olim. It's the concept of Torah. And Midas Tiferes is the concept of Torah. She says, Yisrael Gormim Tzimtzum, that we're the ones who caused this contraction to come down. Like it says, Yisrael, with you, I glorify myself with, I beautify myself with. Why? Yisrael is the concept of Tiferes, because Hashem, so to speak, connects to us because we're able to bring it down. That we have this light that we can also bring down together, the two midos of Chesed and Gvura. together.